Welcome to another Promethean Paints painting tutorial. Today we're going to focus on the sort of pink, violet, magenta smokestack effect you can see on the Emperor's Children model. The actual smokestack you can get from Deadly Print Studios. You can buy the ST out or buy the solid piece. So check them out. So what we can do is we'll be working with the airbrush primarily. We will be finishing off with some brush work. So to start things off, just prime in a black. Don't go for any other colour. Black works best as your base coat for this. I'll use Vallejo black primer, but any of your black primers will do. And just give this a couple of coats. As this is a resin piece, it's always worth just giving the piece a little bit of a wash first into some mild soapy water, just in case there's any residue left over. And once your primer is dry, we're going to use some Vallejo white ink. So the smoke comes from a source of heat, so for me the heat is at the very bottom, so I focus and put some solid white ink on the very bottom of the smokestack, so that's where it will join the sort of exhaust of the model. And then we face the model away from us and spray from the bottom to the top, catching the bottom edge of the smoke, leaving the top part dark, the coldest part, and the bottom part brightest, the hottest. As you can already see, just with white and black you get a nice gradient effect, and then that's the effect, that will be your brightest points of the model. So solid white at the very base, and then almost what the zenithal highlight from the bottom to the top. Don't catch any of those top edges with the white, it will sort of destroy the effect. We then move on to some fluorescent magenta from AK, and just once that white ink is dry, it can take a few minutes to dry, paint the whole model with this, cover everything. A few thin coats of this, be careful, it can start to pool and take a while to dry, so just a few thin coats using the airbrush, and I say a full coverage of the smoke. It's hard to see on here, it's really bright already, it white out the camera. But yeah, cover the whole model, doesn't matter if you catch the top with the magenta, just cover the whole thing. This effect works on any size of smokestack, big or small. This is the smallest one that Deadly Print Studios do. I think there's some really big ones. The effect is the same. So the brightest part is the heat source, the coolest part is where that heat source is evaporated. Okay, to start adding some contrast to this, we use some Green Stuff World Fluorescent Violet, give the bottle a good shake, and then sort of the opposite of what we've just done. So we point downwards, so bottom to top, or top to bottom, sorry, should I say, and we now cover the top part of the smokestack with the violet, and catch the very edges with the violet. So you leave, the bottom is still pure magenta, the top is almost pure violet, with the edges just slightly grazed with the airbrush to give the effect. Very, very subtle, don't get any at the very bottom, there's only a few sprays needed, and it just starts to add some colour shifting around the model. And then the final stage with the airbrush is we just add a few drops of the AK Tenebrous Grey, mix it through, and then just spray directly at the top, so that the very, very top is the dark grey with a little bit grazed around the edges, and in your very coldest points the grey gives it a nice smoky purplish grey black feel. It's a very matte finish, helps sell and gives the contrast. So you have the very dark to the very light with close proximity to each other. And now just for the final piece to finish this off with the brushwork, see I've just used a little bit of super glue to attach it to the top of the exhaust on the Emperor Children's model. We just use a little bit of AK white, just a dollop of this, and I'm going to paint this around the part that joins the smokestack to the vent. That's the very brightest point where it's coming out of the smokestack, sorry, out of the exhaust. So yeah, just painting into that bottom groove with the pure white. Notice I added a little bit of water. I'm also using quite an old brush for this, you don't have to be that precise. So I had a pure line of white where your very hottest point is going to be, and then I water the white down just a little bit more, so it's almost like a wash, and then as you can see pull the paint down from about a centimetre up downwards, so that you're sort of creating a sort of slight gradient from the watered down white to pure white, the base of the smokestack where it's at its hottest point. Okay, the final stage, AK fluorescent orange. Give the bottle a good shake, give the pigments mixed, and then just paint over your white, pulling the brush down towards the hottest part so that your pure orange lands in the very bottom part, and just cover the model, cover the white that you've just done with the orange. It's quite an odd colour you would think to be using for pinks and magentas, but it gives a really good offset, gives it an almost mystical type feel to the smoke effect. You can add a couple of coats of this, let the first one dry if you haven't got good coverage, but one coat should generally do this, and that's it. Easy as that. So only a handful of colours used: Vallejo black primer, Vallejo white ink, the AK magenta, Green Stuff World fluorescent violet, some AK tenebrous grey, and then some AK white and AK fluorescent orange, and that's all you need to give a really good effect for your model. Just coming up are a couple of photos on a black background, which really makes the effect pop. So yeah, thanks for watching. There will be some other ones like this that show green, standard sort of red orange effect, blue fluorescent smokestack effects as well. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Happy painting.